Okay, good morning everybody, and welcome to What's New in Cim50 Manufacturing version 2025. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Martin Connor. I'm manufacturing specialist here at Sim Software. I head up the Cim50 side of things here at Sim Software. Please feel free to make a note of my email address if you've got any questions following today's webinar. This will be recorded. We will get that out to people who are not able to attend today, and yourselves, for those who are attending. So please feel free to share this with your colleagues. So a little bit of an agenda. I've just got 30 minutes here, so we'll just sort of work our way through some of the points that we're going to cover. So just take you through an introduction, talk about some of the key features, then we'll move on to sort of additional features and minor enhancements, drop into a demo. So we'll demonstrate some of the sort of the key features for you today, so you get a flavour of what we're doing with this release, and then open up to the floor if you've got any questions and discuss next steps. So our Cim50 2025 is our annual release of Cim50 manufacturing, and what we've done this time is focus on usability as well as customer wish list requests. So thank you for those that have contributed to the wish list. For those of you who don't know, you can access the wish list from our website, cim50.co.uk. You do need a log on, so get yourself on there if you're not already on our website. You can also see our roadmap, and I'll share a link to that later on. So thanks for those that have contributed. So with version 2025, we've included about 40 new features, various updates, and a number of bug fixes since the 2024 SP2, which was released back in February, which integrated with version 31 of Sage 50 accounts as well. Our version 2025 will only be compatible with version 32. Yes, that's right. Sage will bring out a version 32. We've been told that it will be this week commencing the 21st of April, is when it should be released, and we've been advised that there'll be an official notification coming out from Sage this week. We have got a copy, we've tested it, we've recompiled Cim50 against it, so we will only be releasing Cim50 2025 with version 32 of Sage 50 accounts. So if you want to take advantage of Cim50 2025, you will need to upgrade to version 32 of accounts, because we like to keep them in a line as much as we can. Yeah, it's a little bit of a surprise to us with the version 32 from Sage, but they've obviously got their reasons, and we'll wait to hear what they are. So as far as Cim50 version 2025 is concerned, we are saying an early May release once we've got official confirmation from Sage on that version 32. For those of you who were originally booked on this, we do apologise that we moved this along, because we found out that version 32 had been was due for release, so we wanted to align it as close to that release date as possible. This webinar as close to that as possible. So as far as what's included, we've updated some of the user interface, so we've modernized the log on and splash screens. We've removed Simmy, the little guy with the tie, with the green and red tie. That's now a warning bar, so he's no longer with us. The bar is more prominent, and is sort of the feedback so far is that it's sort of a little bit more in your face, so that you sort of brings it to your attention that there may be some issues that need addressing between the two systems. We've added picking list functionality, so within the stock control dispatch feature, you can now create picking lists as well as delivery notes, and you can convert a picking list into delivery note. Okay, so you could build a picking list, present that to the warehouse staff. to pick those items. They can come back, and once that's been picked, it can then be converted into a delivery note. And what it will do is it will take care of the allocations in Sage for you against your sales orders. Stock adjustments. So we've expanded the stock adjustments to include multiple items. So if you're adjusting a number of items in or out, or transferring from one bin location to another for a traceable item, you can do that for multiple items in one go. So you're not having to click in and out or select an item at a time. You can do that in a list view, in a grid. You build your grid and carry out those transactions. We've expanded the trial kit functionality. So we've got trial kitting in bills of materials for multiple items. That was an additional feature over and above what Sage 50 manufacturing could do, because you only trial kit a single item. We could do, in Cim50 currently you can do it for multiple items, but you would have to build that list. Okay, but what we've now done is allow you to pick sales orders, outstanding sales orders from Sage to build your trial kit. And once those items are in the trial kit list, it behaves in exactly the same way. So highlight shortages to you, give you the option to raise purchase orders and works orders for shortages or across the system. Okay. Shop floor data capture enhancements. So those of you who've got the shop floor data capture, there was a missing feature, which is being able to manually adjust stock. We also we did have the ability to do stock takes, but we can now manually adjust stock, and you can also allocate purchase receipts and works order completions within the shop floor data capture, so it follows the core program in those two areas. If you've got the scheduler, we've added ad hoc bookings. So if you've got resources which are maybe on holiday, if your resources are labor, or if it's a machine, you've got a repair or a breakdown, you can add that as an ad hoc booking into the graphical scheduler. Okay, and that will be picked up by the scheduler, and you can schedule around that ad hoc booking. Backups, we've extended the functionality around backups, so you can now delete backups. So you've got a retention policy. You might want to retain 30 days. Okay, that can now be done, and you can also change the default backup path, so it doesn't have to now be in the Cim50 share. Okay, it could be on another server or another shared drive. It just needs to be accessible from the server where Cim50 is installed and the like, so that it can then move that across to that shared drive. Okay, so it gives you a bit better sort of disaster recovery, because the Cim50 and the backups could be in two different places. So additional features, we've added in the stock control, we've added analysis codes to delivery notes and delivery note items. So you may want to sort of add your own sort of custom fields to delivery notes. They can appear on paperwork if required. Obviously, your delivery notes would need to be amended to pick those out, but they will be available, as with all of the analysis codes across Cim50. We added to reports and layouts. We've extended the audit log to include traceable items. So if you change a sell by date or a supplier batch number, that's recorded in the audit log. So expanding out that traceability really to not only include the stock movements, but also the adjustments of and amendments of fields of traceable items, serial numbers and batch numbers. On the bill of materials, if you're using scrap percentages, we've expanded that to allow you to enter scrap quantities rather than percentages. So instead of you having to say that there's a 10% scrap, you can actually say I generally only scrap one item. Okay, regardless of how many finished items that I'm making. So it might be that you want to add a couple of spare screws onto uh, a component, or some screws that you need to manufacture an item or assemble it, but you generally lose a couple of those. Okay, it's quite hard to put a percentage on that, but you can now enter a quantity. Okay, one thing to be aware of there is it is a system setting, and it will warn you if you change it to quantity, then it will zero out all the percentages for you. Okay, so you just need to be aware of that. So you would need to re-enter those or do an export import, or you may want to take some help from your partner. And if you're a direct customer, then that will be ourselves. Works orders, when you're part completing a works order, regardless of the quantity, so you've got that checkbox on a works order, you've making 100 initially, but you've only ended up with 90. You now have the option to return the unused components. It will prompt you and say, do you want to return the unused components? Okay, you don't have to, but it'll give you the option rather than you having to go and sort of reverse issue those items prior to completing the works order. On the planning side of things, you can now update recommendation suppliers and receipt dates. So if you've got a whole bunch of purchase recommendations that you want to move from one supplier to another, then you can. Okay. Or it might be that you've got a number of recommendations that you want to bring in all on the same date for the same supplier even. So you want to pop them all onto the same purchase order, all with the same date, so that they deliver them all the items on the same date. You can now do that from the planning. So you highlight your purchase recommendations, and you've got the ability to amend multiple recommendations, and they're the only two fields: the supplier and the receipt dates. Okay, and then from a system point of view, a technical point of view, and this will all be updated in the system requirements, which will be with the software download and also available on our website. Okay, is that we have made Cim50 2025 compatible with Windows Server 2025. So keeping up to date there, nice and modern, and keeping up with Microsoft. So minor enhancements then, there is the release notes. I would encourage you to download those once they become available. Have a look at those, because there are, in addition to what I've just been talking about, there are another additional 25 minor enhancements and updates across the system, and we'd hate for you to miss out on those, because some of them will need sort of switching on in settings and the likes. But please feel free to have a look at those release notes once they're available, and they will be on our website, and we will also send customers and partners the sort of details of the latest release date. Okay, so let's have a look then at some of the features that we've included. As I say, I'm not going to go through them all. I'm just going to pick out some of the sort of the key features that, as we see it, across the system. Okay, so I'm in Cim50. The first thing that you'll notice is that we've got the warning bar at the top here. Okay, Simi has gone. Okay, with the tie, because it wasn't quite so prominent. I've forced some errors here, so don't know if you're aware, but you've got it tells you about if you've not got a backup, and I've forced an error to say that there's a mismatch in the stock between Cim50 and Sage. So there's a traceable item which doesn't agree. So somebody's done a transaction in Sage for a traceable item. So it's just warning us that the traceable item needs to be updated. So you get this bar where all users will get this bar when they log in, and then you need to address those errors. And if you need assistance with those, contact your support company or your business partner. Okay, so if we go into stock control then, I'm just going to go and show you a couple of the features which are in here that we talked about. So the first one will be the picking list functionality. So if I go to dispatch, okay, you'll notice that the new button has now got picking list and delivery note under it. So if I click picking list and I pick an order or an item, I've then got my oak desk. I've got 85 available. I'm going to pick 37 of the 37. It's asking me to select the batch. All the functionality remains exactly the same as if we were doing a delivery note. Okay, all we've done is we've created a type, document type in the database. So it allows us to then create a picking list and then convert that to a delivery note. So I'm going to create the picking list. Are you sure you want to? Yes, I do. So I now have a picking list. Okay, we've got a reference there. Okay, for sales order number 6, it's not been invoiced, it's not been printed, it's not been updated. Okay, so now what I can do is I can print the picking list just like we could before, but we were doing it for a delivery note. This is now for a picking list. So there's my picking list. Go off and pick the items, and as time progresses, they come back and said, yeah, that can now be dispatched. I can hit the dispatch button. It will then prompt me for the additional information if you've got that set up. So this will appear on the paperwork. Print, pick my delivery note, and there is my delivery note number 3. Okay, with all my details on there. So I can still amend that. I could have amended the picking list. I could have deleted the picking list. I can still amend this delivery note. So even if something changed, okay, I can change that. While we're here, you can see that we've got analysis codes. So I've got a delivery method that I've chosen to add. Okay, I can also, on the items itself, I put a package number. Okay, so they behave in exactly the same way as any other analysis codes across the system. And now that's a delivery note. We can obviously update that to invoice in exactly the same way as if it had been updated or created originally as a delivery note with the current functionality. What also happened along the way is when I created the picking list, it also allocated the stock and allocated the sales order. Okay, so next feature within stock control I'm going to show you is the adjustments. So you can see here that we've got adjust multiple items. Okay, I can say that it's going to be in or out. So I'm going to say an out. Today, firm. So all of the items are going to have the same reference, and it's going to be the same type of adjustment. You can see there that we can carry out each of the different types of adjustment. I can then pick my item. I can pick the batch. We can see the details. We can look at the additional details by line item. Okay, quantity available. I'm going to adjust one of those out. If I move down to the next item, maybe it's a mahogany desk, I'm going to book out as well. That isn't a traceable item. Okay, but it's pulled across the details. I'm going to book one of those out as well. Okay, we can remove items, but once we confirm it, both of those transactions have taken place. Okay, so there's my multi-item stock adjustment. Okay, so moving on then to bills and materials. Under the trial kitting, we've still got the ability to trial kit, but we can also trial kit sales orders. So maybe you want to pick a couple of sales orders at random here, trial kit them, and what it will do is it will load the line items from the sales order into my trial kit. So this now behaves in exactly the same way, except for we've got a sales order number as if I'd entered those stock or those bills materials into the trial kit. Okay, and we can see that we can fulfill all three of those items from those two sales orders. Okay, but if I had shortages, then it will behave in exactly the same way. I could raise purchase orders, raise works orders for any shortages. So just saving us to time and having to rekey data into that screen. Okay, so just going to show you the backup. So if I go into the backup, you can see under the schedule, we've got the ability to change the backup path that we get used for automated and manual backups, and then our retention. So we can say delete it after so many days. But one thing to remember there, okay, or one thing to be aware of is any .zip files which are in that folder will get deleted. Okay, so if you're storing anything else with a .zip extension, okay, it will get deleted because we can't really determine whether it's a backup file or not, because you could rename it, you can do all sorts of things with those. So just be aware. So probably make the backup folder exclusive to Cim50 backups, and remember that will also back up your Sage 50 accounts data at the same time to lock the two together. Okay, so what I'm going to do is now I'm going to just change data sets. So as I want to just show you the ad hoc bookings. But what it also does is it allows me, okay, to show you the log on screen as well. So you can see the updated log on screen. Okay, so I'm just going to go into my other data set, okay, which is my scheduler data set. And if I move across to the scheduler, what we've got there is that we've got an ad hoc booking there for which is covering from the 16th to the 23rd. Okay, it's a repair on the M1 saw. Okay, and if I view the scheduler, go to today, you can see there is my ad hoc booking. Okay, change the switch gear. Okay, so I can plan around that booking. Okay, on that resource. Okay, so the next one I'm just going to show you if you're using the shop floor data capture, which I like to refer to as barcode anything, and it truly is now, is because we can carry out any stock movement using a barcode, book actual labor times. We've added manual adjustment. Okay, so I'm going to just do this in slow time, put my mahogany item in there. I'm going to go in or out, so I'm going to book that one back in that I booked out previously. Confirm. I now go back to Cim50. Just change the company. So back in Cim50 then, if I go to stock control and I look at my mahogany desk and I view the history. There's my FSDC adjustment in real time. So there's my multi-item adjust, and there's my shop floor data capture. Okay, so that sort of concludes the demonstration for today's webinar. Obviously, there's lots of additional features, and I'd encourage you to, as I say, download the release notes. Okay, so all's left to say is thank you. Are there any questions or feedback? Please feel free to drop them in the chat or the Q&A. I'll be happy to respond to those if you're on it live. If you're not watching this live, please feel free to drop me an email or reach out to your business partner, which is ourselves for our supported customers. But if you want to look at upgrading, we encourage you to do so, because we've got some great features there. It keeps you in line with the latest versions of Sage 50 accounts on release. And if you want to discuss that, please reach out to your business partner to discuss upgrading, and we can sort of take you through that. If you would like further details on future releases, please feel free to have a look at our roadmap. Please feel free to make a note of that web link there. You do need a log on, as I said, but you can register on the website if you're not already registered. Okay, and you can also see our wish list, where you can upvote wish list suggestions, and you can add your own. Okay, and we do look to include as many as we can, and those are most popular, to be fair, and that's why we've popped the upvote option on our wish list. So have a look at what's on there, maybe some features that you would love to see, get in there and get upvoting, and hopefully we can look to include some of those in the next release, in the 2026 release.